before mankind conquered the snowy peaks, before science understood life at extreme altitudes, there already existed a world where the icy wind and the cliffs decide who survives. In the imposing Alps, between steep slopes, deep forests, and endless snow, predators move in silence, stalk and dominate this relentless land. Welcome to the wild Alps, the kingdom of predators on the infinite peaks. Please give us a like and subscribe to the channel to give us more motivation to keep creating quality content. Don't forget to comment below on what you thought of the video and tell us where you are watching it from so we can converse together. May God bless everyone with health, peace and love for nature. Let's begin. On the steep peaks of the European Alps, the golden eagle stands as the absolute monarch of the winds and rocks. This legendary raptor, known scientifically as Aquila crisatos, dominates a realm of icy air and vertical slopes. Its wingspan can reach 2.3 meters, a wing structure designed by evolution to glide effortlessly over the deepest abysses. Weighing up to 7 kilograms, this predator combines an imposing physical mass with an aerial agility that defies the laws of physics. Its vision is a biological marvel, equipped with foveal cells that allow it to detect a chamois from more than 3 kilometers away. The eagle's eyes act as telescopic lenses, processing images with a sharpness 8 times greater than that of the human eye. On the Alpine slopes, the eagle watches its target, a juvenile chamois moving agilely over the slippery rocks. The hunter uses thermal currents to silently gain altitude, positioning itself in the blind spot of the sun to hide its shadow. The strategy begins with a stalk from the stratosphere, where the eagle folds its wings to minimize air resistance. In a deadly dive, the eagle reaches a speed of 320 kilometers per hour, transforming into a biological projectile of lethal precision. The impact of its talons against the prey generates a devastating kinetic energy, capable of unbalancing an animal that doubles its weight. Its 8 retractable talons measure 15 centimeters long and act as daggers that instantly pierce vital organs. The squeezing force exerted by its feet reaches 1,500 newtons, exceeding the gripping power of any human hand. In a display of masterly tactics, the eagle does not try to kill the chamois on the spot, but deliberately pushes it toward the abyss. Gravity becomes its final weapon, as the chamois falls hundreds of meters down the rocky slope after the bird's push. Once the prey lies motionless, the eagle descends elegantly to claim its prize among the snow and stones. Its powerful hooked beak is capable of tearing the tough hide of the chamois, extracting the meat necessary to feed its offspring. This predator defends a territory of up to 150 square kilometers, patrolling its borders with display flights that warn other intruders. The nests or breeding platforms, built in inaccessible crevices, are fortresses of branches that can measure 2 meters in diameter. The golden eagle plays a crucial role as a regulator of mountain mammal populations, maintaining the biological integrity of the Alps. Its existence is the supreme symbol of freedom and wild power that still survives in the most inhospitable heights of the planet. After decades of absence, a legendary ghost returns to the shadows of the Alpine peaks to reclaim its lost throne in the natural hierarchy. The grey wolf, known scientifically as Canis lupus, emerges once again as the ultimate strategist that balances life in the heights. Its recolonization extends across the forested borders of Italy, France, and Switzerland, marking the return of a vital ecological balance. This predator is a masterpiece of adaptive evolution, with a dense coat that protects it from temperatures that drop to 30 degrees Celsius below zero. Its paws are tools of biological engineering, with wide pads that function as natural snowshoes to move without sinking. With a weight ranging between 30 and 50 kilograms, the grey wolf of the Alps possesses an athletic build designed for pure endurance. Its senses are tuned for survival, with a sense of smell 100 times more powerful than a human's, capable of detecting prey 2 kilometers away. Its mobile ears can capture ultrasound frequencies, allowing it to hear the slight rustling of a rodent under a 1-meter layer of snow. Collective intelligence is its most fearsome weapon, operating in coordinated packs where each individual fulfills a specific tactical role. The stalk begins in the gloom of the forest, where wolves move in single file to hide the real number of pack members. Upon locating a group of deer, the pack deploys in a perfect semicircle, cutting off escape routes toward more open terrain. The chase is a demonstration of brutal stamina, where the wolf can run at 60 kilometers per hour for several kilometers until exhausting its prey's lungs. Once the victim falters, the alpha wolf leads the final attack, using its jaws to immobilize with a force of 2,700 newtons. This pressure is sufficient to crush the toughest bone, far exceeding the bite force of any domestic dog breed. Unlike other solitary hunters, the wolf uses psychological and physical wear, turning the landscape into a trap with no exit. The wolf's howl is a signal of power that can be heard 10 kilometers away, a sonorous border that delimits its vast hunting territory. Each pack defends a domain of up to 300 square kilometers, patrolling tirelessly to ensure the exclusivity of its resources. As a keystone species, the return of the wolf causes a trophic cascade that regenerates the local flora by controlling the excess of herbivores. Its presence forces deer and roe deer to keep moving, allowing young forests to grow again on the eroded slopes. The grey wolf is not just a predator, but an ecosystem architect that restores the biological health of the Alpine mountains. The respect and fear that its figure instills are the testimony of a warrior that never surrenders to the adversity of the eternal winter. Above the forests where the wolf reigns, on the rock walls that challenge the sky, dwells the most daring climber of the entire mountain range. The Alpine ibex, known scientifically as Capra ibex, is a creature forged in granite and ice, a symbol of absolute resistance. This ungulate possesses a unique anatomical design that allows it to navigate vertical slopes with an agility that seems to ignore gravity. In late summer, when the air begins to cool, the calm of the high peaks is broken by an electrical tension between the males. The adult males, which can reach a weight of 100 kilograms, begin to gather on the highest slopes to establish their hierarchy. Their most distinctive weapon is their imposing scimitar-shaped horns, which can grow to reach a length of 1 meter. These horns are not simple ornaments, but tools of war composed of solid keratin and a reinforced bone core for impact. The structure of their hooves is a marvel of friction, with hard edges and a soft center that adheres to the stone like biological suction cups. On the natural ledges located at an altitude of 3,000 meters, the gladiators of the heights prepare for the great clash of titans. The battle for dominance does not begin with physical contact, but with visual intimidation and a display of static force. The rivals measure each other, evaluating the muscle mass and the span of the opponent's defenses with a gelid gaze. When tension reaches its limit, the challenger emits a sharp whistle that signals the end of diplomacy and the start of hostilities. In a movement choreographed by evolution, both males rise on their hind legs, doubling their apparent height over the abyss. This bipedal posture allows them to use the potential energy of their weight to drastically increase the destructive power of the downward blow. They lunge forward with a controlled violence, clashing their horns in the air with a dry impact that echoes throughout the valley. The sound of the clashing keratin is so powerful that it can be heard at a distance of 1 kilometer in the thin mountain air. The force generated at the moment of contact can exceed 7,000 newtons, a pressure capable of pulverizing the bones of a common animal. However, the brain of the ibex is protected by a system of double bone cavities that function as high-resistance shock absorbers, The combatants repeat this ritual again and again, pushing each other with their foreheads and locking their horns to measure neck resistance. The muscles of their shoulders are extremely dense, capable of absorbing torsions that would break a steel structure. These fights are tests of pure stamina, where fatigue is the main enemy rather than the opponent's strength. Dust rises from the cliffs as their hooves seek traction on the edge of a precipice with a 500-meter free fall. Unlike other predators, these ritual confrontations rarely result in fatal wounds, seeking only social recognition. After hours of exhausting struggle, one of the males finally bows his head and slowly retreats in a sign of absolute submission. The winner establishes his priority right over the best grazing areas before the snow completely covers the landscape. This hierarchical order ensures that the strongest genes are perpetuated, guaranteeing the survival of the species in the extreme climate. With the arrival of winter, the Alpine ibex must survive on a meager diet of lichens buried under 2 meters of snow. Its metabolism is drastically reduced, allowing them to conserve vital energy when the temperature drops to 25 degrees Celsius below zero. As a keystone species of the heights, the ibex shapes the vegetation of the cliffs, creating niches for rare plants and other animals. In addition, they are the ultimate prey for the golden eagle, establishing a vital link in the trophic web of the most inhospitable peaks. Every scar on their horns and every growth ring tells the story of a survivor that has beaten time and gravity. At the conclusion of the battle season, silence returns to the mountain, only interrupted by the roar of the gelid wind from the glaciers. The warriors of the summits rest now, recovering the strength necessary to face the final challenge of the eternal winter. The presence of the ibex in the Alps is the living testimony of the majesty and the indomitable will of wild nature. They are the silent guardians of the granite, observing from their rock thrones a world that few humans manage to see. The cycle of dominance will repeat next year, ensuring that the spirit of the heights is never extinguished under the ice. On the dizzying border between the rock and the abyss dwells an acrobat whose life is a constant dance on the edge of the cliff. The chamois, known scientifically as rupicapra, is the symbol of extreme agility in the heart of the Alps. With a weight ranging between 25 and 60 kilograms, its compact body is designed for speed in terrains where any other animal would collapse. Their horns, present in both sexes, are short and hooked backward, a minimalist but effective defense in close encounters. The true superpower of the chamois resides in its hooves, equipped with hard keratin edges and internal pads of astonishing grip. This biological design functions like high-tech climbing footwear, allowing it to run on smooth granite with absolute confidence. Beneath its coat, an oversized heart and blood rich in hemoglobin grant it a physical endurance that exceeds that of the best human athletes. Suddenly, the tranquility of the afternoon is broken when a dark silhouette appears in the sky. The golden eagle has initiated its deadly descent. The chamois detects the threat thanks to its 360-degree peripheral vision, catching the slightest change in light above it. With a warning whistle that echoes in the rocks, the group disperses in an explosion of pure energy and instinctive coordination. The chase begins, and the chamois lunges down slopes of 70 degrees of inclination as if gravity had no power over it. On flat ground, it can reach a speed of 50 kilometers per hour, but its real advantage emerges in the chaos of scree slopes. It performs prodigious leaps of up to 2 meters high and 6 meters long, crossing crevices that would stop any terrestrial predator. Its joints are reinforced to absorb impacts equivalent to several times its own weight in each forced landing. The golden eagle tries to intercept its trajectory, but the chamois uses sharp 180-degree turns to break the bird's line of attack. It is a battle of physics and reflexes, where a single millisecond determines who lives to see the dawn of the next day. The stamina of the chamois is legendary. Its lungs process the thin mountain air with unmatched thermal and biological efficiency. After several minutes of a frantic escape, the chamois takes refuge in a narrow rock chimney where the eagle's wings cannot maneuver. The raptor retreats, defeated by the tactical mastery of an animal that has turned danger into its natural habitat. Once the danger has passed, the chamois resumes its activity, grazing on lichens and alpine grasses with a calm that belies the previous chaos. These animals live in social groups, led by experienced females who know every secret escape route of the mountain. The chamois fulfills a crucial ecological mission by dispersing seeds at altitudes where plant life struggles to thrive. Its presence guarantees that the food chain remains active, serving as sustenance both for eagles and for the wolves that patrol the lower forest. In the great theatre of the Alps, the chamois is the spirit of resistance, a reminder that agility is as powerful as brute force. Each winter, they face temperatures of 20 degrees Celsius below zero, surviving under layers of snow that exceed 3 meters. Their will to live is unshakable, carved by the gelid wind and the millenary rocks that are their only home. The chamois remains as the sentinel of the summits, observing the world from the most inaccessible heights of the planet. As long as the mountains exist, its silhouette will continue to cross the cliffs like a ray of life in the middle of the eternal cold. In the deep silence of the forested slopes, a ghost with golden eyes returns from the shadows of extinction to reclaim its place in the Alpine hierarchy. The Eurasian lynx, known scientifically as lynx, is the third largest predator in Europe and the most robust cat on the continent. After having disappeared from much of its original territory due to human persecution, this carnivore stars in one of the most astonishing comebacks in modern biology. Its appearance is unmistakable, highlighting the tufts of black hair at the tips of its ears that function as high-precision antennas. These terminal structures allow it to detect the exact direction of a sound from more than 50 meters away, even if the emitter is underground. With a weight that can reach 30 kilograms, its body is covered by a dense and spotted coat that blends perfectly with the forest shadows. Its paws are true biological snowshoes, with a wide surface area that distributes its weight to walk on white blankets without sinking. The lynx possesses extraordinary night vision thanks to the tapetum lucidum, a reflective layer that multiplies the scarce moonlight in the taiga. Unlike the wolf, the lynx is an ambush strategist, a master of patience who can wait motionless for hours to deliver the final blow. Its hunting technique is based on absolute stealth, moving with a lightness that does not break a single dry leaf under its retractable claws. Upon detecting a roe deer, the lynx reduces the distance to less than 10 meters before initiating an explosive acceleration. In a leap of surgical precision, the cat reaches its prey's jugular with a bite force of 500 newtons. This power is more than enough to subdue prey that weighs 3 times more than itself, consolidating its status as an elite predator. In terms of comparison, its top speed of 80 kilometers per hour places it as one of the fastest runners of the temperate forests. The lynx is a solitary inhabitant that requires extensive territories of up to 200 square kilometers to ensure sufficient food sources. The reintroduction of the lynx in the Alps has been fundamental to control the populations of herbivores that degrade the health of the young forest. As an alpha predator, its presence generates an architecture of fear that forces deer to avoid sensitive areas, allowing natural regeneration. Each cub born in the wild represents one step further from the abyss of definitive extinction to which it was pushed a century ago. The Eurasian lynx continues to patrol the invisible paths of the mountains, reminding us that nature has an extraordinary capacity for recovery. Its low growl and its penetrating gaze are the soul of the Alps, the wild pulse that should never have stopped beating on these summits. In the heart of the densest forests and the most remote slopes emerges a force of nature that embodies absolute power and resistance: the brown bear. Known scientifically as Ursus arctos, this titan is the largest terrestrial mammal of the temperate regions, a true monarch of mountain ecosystems. Its imposing build can reach a weight of 350 kilograms in the specimens of the Alps, although its relatives in other regions far exceed this figure. It possesses a hump of massive muscles over its shoulders, a reserve of pure power that it uses to dig and deal devastating blows. Its limbs are armed with 10-centimeter-long claws, biological tools designed to tear rotten wood or defend itself from any intruder. The sense of smell of the brown bear is its most prodigious sense, being 2,000 times more powerful than that of the human being and superior even to that of the most trained dog. This biological nose allows it to detect a food source or the presence of a competitor from more than 10 kilometers away. Before the arrival of winter, the brown bear prepares for its most difficult battle against extreme cold, accumulating a layer of fat of up to 15 centimeters. During hyperphagia, it can consume up to 40,000 kilocalories a day, transforming every gram of protein into vital energy for hibernation. Inside its den, its heart rate drops from 40 to only 8 beats per minute to conserve resources, while the outside temperature drops to 30 degrees Celsius below zero. However, the brown bear is not just a passive survivor. It is a formidable warrior when it comes to protecting its territory or its offspring. Despite its robust appearance, this giant can run at a speed of 50 kilometers per hour, easily outrunning any Olympic athlete on rugged terrain. In a hostile encounter, the bear rises on its hind legs, reaching a height of 3 meters, an intimidation tactic that freezes the heart of its enemies. Its jaw is equipped for destruction, with a bite force that reaches 8,000 newtons, enough to crush a bowling ball or the skull of a large mammal. The females are especially dangerous, demonstrating an unmatched maternal fury if they perceive that a pack of wolves is stalking their cubs. A single blow of its forepaw can break a deer's spine instantly, releasing a massive kinetic energy accumulated in its muscles. The brown bear is a keystone species that acts as an ecosystem engineer, dispersing thousands of seeds across its vast domains of 500 square kilometers. By digging in search of roots and bulbs, it aerates the mountain soil, allowing water and nutrients to penetrate deeply into the earth. Its existence is the pulse of the wild mountain, a reminder of the brute force and adaptive intelligence that govern the natural world. In the eternal struggle between life and ice, The brown bear remains as the indomitable titan that never retreats before adversity. As the guardian of nature's cycles, its awakening in spring symbolizes the return of life to the highlands of the Alps. When autumn dyes the alpine forest's bronze, a symphony of wild power begins to rumble among the steep valleys. The red deer, known scientifically as Cervus elephas, emerges as the undisputed king of the forest, a monarch who defends his crown with ferocity. With a weight that can exceed 200 kilograms, its physical presence is a statement of dominance and genetic vigor in the heart of the mountain. Its most majestic feature is its antlers of solid bone, a branched structure that can weigh up to 15 kilograms. This cranial armor is renewed each year, growing at an astonishing speed under a velvet layer rich in blood vessels. Upon the arrival of the rutting season, the forest becomes a stage of psychological warfare where silence is replaced by roaring. The roar of the male is a guttural cry of defiance that can be heard at a distance of 5 kilometers through the dense vegetation. This sound is not just a warning, but a measurement tool that allows other males to evaluate the strength and size of their rival. The red deer's lungs expel air with massive pressure, turning its rib cage into a low-frequency biological amplifier. When roaring is not enough to deter the opponent, physical confrontation becomes inevitable on the leaf-covered ground. The rivals walk in parallel, measuring each other with their gaze while displaying their muscular flanks to intimidate the challenger. Suddenly, both turn and charge at each other with a speed of 30 kilometers per hour, lowering their heads for the impact. The clash of the antlers generates a devastating kinetic energy, releasing a force that can reach 6,000 newtons. The sound of the horns clashing echoes like gunshots in the mountain, an echo of the ancestral struggle for the survival of the fittest. Their necks, reinforced with powerful muscles, absorb the pressure of the clash to avoid lethal fractures at the base of the skull. Compared to other ungulates, the red deer's fight is a dance of pushing and endurance, where exhaustion usually decides the winner. The dominant male protects his harem of females with constant vigilance, barely eating or sleeping during the entire rutting period. This strategy ensures that only the genes of the strongest and most resistant individual pass to the next generation of fawns. Once the battles are over, the males lose up to 20% of their body weight due to the extreme effort made. The red deer plays a crucial role as an architect of the landscape, controlling the growth of shrubs and allowing light to reach the ground. Its droppings act as a natural fertilizer that distributes essential nutrients across thousands of meters of forest land. As the primary prey of the grey wolf, the deer maintains the trophic balance that sustains the biodiversity of the highlands. Its life is a cycle of constant renewal, a struggle between the elegance of its form and the brutality of its territorial instincts. In the silence following the rut, the red deer retreats to the thicket to recover and face the winter that already looms on the peaks. It is the guardian of the wild spirit of the Alps, a symbol of natural nobility that persists despite the passage of time. The presence of the deer guarantees that the forest continues to vibrate with the energy of life and the echo of battles for eternity. In the intricate tapestry of Alpine nature emerges a figure whose cunning and versatility make it the ultimate survivor of forests and meadows. The red fox, known scientifically as Vulpes vulpes, is the canid with the widest distribution on the planet, occupying from deep valleys to gelid peaks. Its appearance is an ode to functional elegance, with a reddish coat that burns like a flame among the green of the forest or the whiteness of the snow. This small predator, which usually weighs between 5 and 10 kilograms, possesses a lightweight structure that grants it an agility unreachable for its larger relatives. Its bushy tail, which measures close to 40 centimeters long, functions as a precision stabilizer to maintain balance on steep terrains. The senses of the red fox are its greatest tactical advantage, starting with ears capable of detecting frequencies inaudible to the human ear. It can hear the slight squeak of a mouse hidden under 1 meter of snow, or the rustle of a leaf from a distance of 100 meters. It possesses a unique biological superpower, the ability to use the Earth's magnetic field to calculate the exact distance of its prey. When it detects a hidden target, the fox prepares for its most spectacular maneuver, a high-precision parabolic jump. The fox launches itself through the air, reaching a height of 2 meters, and lands vertically on the victim with a lethal impact force. This hunting technique, executed with an almost artistic elegance, has a much higher success rate when the fox attacks oriented toward magnetic north. Its jaw, though small, is equipped with sharp teeth that can exert a pressure of 500 newtons, ideal for capturing rodents and birds. In terms of speed, this forest sprinter can reach 50 kilometers per hour to escape predators like the wolf or the lynx. Unlike other social canids, the red fox usually hunts alone, relying fully on its intelligence and its knowledge of the terrain. Their underground burrows are labyrinths of tunnels that can extend several meters underground, providing a safe refuge against extreme cold. The fox is a complex communicator, using a repertoire of more than 20 different vocalizations, from short barks to penetrating screams. Its ecological role is fundamental, acting as the main regulator of rodent populations in mountain ecosystems. By controlling these small mammals, the fox helps protect plant roots and the biological balance of alpine meadows. As a born opportunist, its diet is one of the most varied in nature, including fruits, insects, and occasionally remains left by large carnivores. The red fox is the personification of resilience, an animal that has learned to prosper even in the presence of human expansion. Its astute gaze and its silent movements place it as the guardian of the secrets of the forest, a red shadow that never stops observing. In the great theatre of wildlife, the fox demonstrates that intelligence is the most powerful tool to conquer adversity. While the sun hides behind the glaciers, the red fox begins its night patrol, ensuring that the cycle of life continues under the stars. At the foundations of the deciduous forest, where roots intertwine with damp earth, dwells a tireless engineer who has dominated the subsoil for millennia. The European badger, known scientifically as Meles meles, is the most robust and powerful member of the mustelid family on the continent. Its appearance is iconic, with a facial mask of black and white stripes that warns other predators of its indomitable nature. With a weight ranging between 10 and 13 kilograms, its body is wedge-shaped, a perfect evolutionary adaptation for life in underground galleries. Its short, muscular legs end in 5 non-retractable claws, massive digging tools that can move tons of earth in a single season. The badger is the architect of sets, complex tunnel systems that can reach a total length of 50 meters and have more than 10 different entrances. These underground fortresses are hereditary, passed down from generation to generation, and some have been continuously occupied for more than 100 years. Although it is mainly nocturnal, the badger possesses an extraordinary sense of smell, capable of detecting an earthworm at 10 centimeters below the surface. Its small eyes are adapted for darkness, but it is its fine hearing that alerts it to any approaching danger through the leaf litter. The badger's diet is astonishingly varied, though it shows a unique specialization in the consumption of earthworms, being able to ingest up to 200 in a single night. As an opportunistic predator, it also hunts small mammals, snails, and amphibians, using its brute force to dig up rodent nests. Its jaw possesses a unique locking mechanism that grants it a bite force of 1,000 newtons, preventing its prey from escaping once caught. Compared to its size, the power of its bite is superior to that of many canids, making it a formidable adversary for foxes and dogs. Its skin is extremely thick and loose, allowing it to turn on itself even if a predator has held it by the neck. When threatened, the badger emits a deep growl and bristles its hair to appear double its real size, a visual intimidation tactic. The badger is a social animal that lives in clans of up to 12 individuals, maintaining a stable hierarchy and cooperating in the cleaning of the set. They are extremely hygienic, building specific latrines outside their tunnels to mark the boundary of their 2 square kilometer territory. During the winter months, the badger does not truly hibernate, but enters a state of deep torpor to conserve energy when food is scarce. Its ecological role is vital, as its excavations aerate the soil and allow the dispersal of fruit seeds it habitually consumes. The badger is the guardian of forest health, a being that balances the populations of insects and small vertebrates under the cloak of night. Its resistance and capacity to transform the landscape confirm it as a fundamental pillar of biodiversity in the lowlands and mountains. In the silence of the dawn, the badger returns to its soil refuge, ensuring that the underground world continues to vibrate with the energy of survival. At the peak of a new era, the summits of the Alps cease to be just a battlefield to become a bastion of hope and life. The international cooperation between 8 sovereign nations has forged a strategic alliance to protect the biological integrity of this unique ecosystem. Currently, more than 100,000 square kilometers of alpine territory are armored under environmental protection laws to guarantee the sovereignty of nature. The success of the return of the lynx and the bearded vulture after a century of absence demonstrates that human will can reverse the shadows of extinction. State-of-the-art science and technology monitor the pulse of the fauna through satellite telemetry, ensuring an immediate response to any threat. The most critical challenge is to halt the melting of the millenary glaciers, threatened by a projected increase of 2 degrees Celsius in the average temperature. Fostering coexistence between man and large predators like the wolf is fundamental to restoring the balance of power in the mountains. Ecological corridors allow biodiversity to flow freely, connecting isolated habitats to strengthen the genetic lineage of alpine species. The Alpine Massif functions today as a global biological barometer, where each victory in conservation echoes across planet Earth. Our mission is to ensure that the roar of the deer and the flight of the eagle continue to define the majesty of this eternal kingdom of rock and ice. Subscribe to the channel as well as share this video to carry this message of respect far. Each gesture helps protect the wonderful creation of nature. Before humans set foot in the frozen lands of the north, before science understood the harsh journeys of migration, there already existed a world where life was always moving in order to survive. Stretching across the taiga forests, glaciers, and the wild lands of Yukon are herds of migrating animals that never stop moving, facing the cold, predators, and endless challenges. A relentless journey, harsh and brutal. Wild Yukon. Welcome to Wild Yukon, migration and the endless fight for survival. Please give us a like and subscribe to the channel to motivate us to create more quality content. Don't forget to leave your comments below so we can discuss together. Let's begin. Caribou footprints are scattered throughout the Yukon Territory. This region is located in the extreme northwest of Canada and covers more than 482,000 square kilometers, making it approximately 1.3 times larger than the state of California in the United States. With an extremely low population density of less than 0.1 people per square kilometer, Yukon is one of the last truly pristine wilderness areas remaining on the North American continent. The name Yukon comes from the Gwich'in word meaning white water river, referring to the Yukon River. Millions of years ago, magma from deep within the earth erupted to the surface in the Heart River region, forming layers of volcanic and intrusive rock that established the basic foundations of this territory. Over millions of years, tectonic plates collided and elevated the land, transforming ancient seabeds into towering mountains. From that great event, the St. Elias, Ogilvie, and Mackenzie mountain ranges were born. The most iconic symbol is Mount Logan, standing at 5,959 meters tall, a testament to the tectonic forces that shaped the entire landscape of the continent's northwest. Glaciers such as Casca Walsh and Logan formed during the Pleistocene glaciation. They eroded the rock and carved deep U-shaped valleys, creating the basis for the complex network of waterways that flow into the Yukon River. It prides itself on possessing areas recognized by UNESCO. Kluane National Park and Reserve, home to Mount Logan, Canada's highest peak, and giant glaciers, was included on the list in 1979. Three other areas, Ivavik, Vuntut, and Herschel Island, have also been included on the tentative list due to their biological importance and unique Arctic ecosystem. Depending on the area, temperatures can vary drastically. Yukon is home to a pristine and diverse ecosystem where life develops in harmony between northern forests, taiga and alpine tundra. According to the official Yukon government portal, about 42,000 caribou were estimated to migrate seasonally through Yukon in 2024, belonging to two main subspecies, the barren ground caribou and the woodland caribou. Additionally, Yukon is home to between 70 and 80 species of mammals and 348 species of birds. Each species and each habitat, from dense forests to glaciers, plays an irreplaceable role in this vast and closely connected ecosystem. Autumn in Yukon lasts from August to October, when the cold air and golden foliage announce nature's elegant transition. In the Ogilvy Mountains and the Porcupine River Valley, where silent taiga forests embrace the vast tundra plains, the landscape takes on a dreamlike beauty woven with the fading light of the season. It is here that the caribou herds begin their migration, preparing to cross the wilderness in search of refuge before the imminent freezing winter. Each year, the migratory journey reaches 2,400 kilometers. They travel from breeding areas in the extreme north of Yukon, crossing the rugged terrain of the Ogilvy Mountains and heading down toward the Porcupine Valley. The porcupine caribou needs areas with thin snow and sufficiently abundant vegetation to recharge energy for the harsh winter ahead. The porcupine caribou has a slender body with long, strong legs that help it move effectively over snow and uneven terrain. Its thick, double-layered fur changes color according to the season, brownish-gray in summer and lighter in winter, to provide both thermal insulation and camouflage. Both males and females have antlers. Male antlers are large with complex branching, while female antlers are smaller but are kept longer to protect their food sources during the winter. As an ancestral inhabitant of Yukon, the porcupine caribou has developed highly adaptable foraging tactics to survive. In areas of low primary productivity, common in autumn and the warm summer months, they feed mainly on grasses and other vascular plants. However, in areas of higher productivity, where competition from other ungulates and predator pressure increases, they opt for lichens. This is an energy-rich food source, easy to digest, and remains accessible under the surface layer of frozen soil. Their journey is deeply linked to the traditional knowledge of indigenous communities such as the Gwich'in and Vuntut Gwich'in, peoples who have lived and hunted alongside the caribou for thousands of years. In that tradition, there exists the concept of the lead caribou, individuals that guide the entire herd through the migration. Interviews with native hunters reveal that females usually lead in autumn and spring, navigating difficult terrain, locating food, and avoiding snowstorms. Males only take command when the snow is deeper and greater physical strength is required to break the trail. By crossing the Ogilvy Mountains and the Porcupine Valley in autumn, the caribou are not just migrants in search of food. They are actively shaping the entire ecosystem. Recent ecological studies by the Alaska Department of Fish and Game show that caribou manure contains key nutrients, especially nitrogen. By dispersing across the tundra, these nutrients help restore the primary productivity of high-altitude grasslands. This creates a domino effect that allows the tundra to recover faster after periods of drought or late thaws. Autumn is also when the caribou begin to display more complex social behaviors. Calves born in early summer are already large enough to follow the herd, turning autumn into a season of natural training. In the low mountainous areas of Ogilvy, the phenomenon of collective antler shedding in males has been observed. Old antlers fall off to prepare for the next winter cycle. This is also the pre-rut phase when testosterone levels rise, making males aggressive, bellicose, and more alert than usual. They can mate with several or even dozens of females continuously for a few days. Conversely, females must balance two key survival roles: maintaining a constant migratory pace while selecting high-quality mates to ensure strong genetics. They tend to be very selective, mating only with males that demonstrate superior endurance and survival instinct. It is noteworthy that the rut occurs even while the herd is in motion, meaning that mating behaviors alternate with brief periods of rest. The passage of tens of thousands of caribou creates familiar trails that alter vegetation patterns and allow new grass to grow after winter. Stopping points often attract other species such as Arctic foxes, golden eagles, and even small rodents that follow the herd. Thanks to the presence of the porcupine caribou, the red squirrel is one of many species that benefit indirectly. Small but full of energy, they spend most of their time collecting and storing cones, especially from white spruce and lodgepole pine, in caches called middens. Indirect nutrients from porcupine caribou manure have been shown in 2,024 studies to help boost forest vegetation growth. As a result, the production of cones, an essential food source for the red squirrel, has increased significantly. Adapted to the cold climate, red squirrels have ears with tufts of hair, a bushy tail, and feet with light fur that help with insulation when moving over snow. They do not hibernate. Instead, they survive the long winter by relying on their food reserves, an effective evolutionary strategy that has allowed the species to persist since the late Pleistocene. Each individual protects its own territory, always alert and reacting aggressively toward any intruder. At this time of year, carcasses of large animals begin to appear, left behind after long migrations or due to exhaustion from the mating season. This is when the raven begins its phase of maximum activity, accumulating energy reserves for the long and harsh winter. They closely follow the movement of ungulates, ready to take advantage of any opportunity. Whether it is an undecayed carcass or remains from a predator's feast, ravens exploit it quickly. Their flexible foraging strategy and incredible intelligence allow them to survive spectacularly. They can remember where they hid food for weeks. Ravens are also famous for their clever distraction tricks, faking alarm calls to deceive others, stealing food, and even harassing larger birds like the bald eagle to snatch carrion from them. After the long journey through forests and mountain ranges in autumn, the herd finally reaches the Richardson Mountains and the interior taiga region of Yukon. This is the place where they will spend the entire winter enduring the extreme cold. Winter in Yukon usually begins in late October and lasts until April, with average temperatures ranging between -20 degrees Celsius and -40 degrees Celsius, and occasionally dropping even lower. In the Richardson Mountains, the rugged terrain and constant winds prevent thick snow accumulation. Thanks to this, many areas expose the lichen layer just below the surface, an essential food source that helps the caribou maintain its energy. In addition to the porcupine caribou, the 40-mile caribou is another characteristic subspecies found in northern North America. These two herds share common ancestors, but geographical separation and differences in habitat have led to notable distinctions in their behavior. The porcupine caribou primarily inhabits open Arctic regions, while the 40-mile caribou has adapted to the subarctic forest zones of Yukon. Although they look nearly identical, according to the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, the 40-mile caribou is slightly smaller due to a less nutritious diet. The 40-mile caribou tends to move in smaller groups and near the boreal forest limit. In contrast, the porcupine caribou prefers the open plains of the tundra. When winter arrives, the 40-mile caribou seeks refuge under the forest canopy to protect itself from freezing winds, while the porcupine caribou is willing to travel further to find areas rich in lichens. The most marked difference lies in the extent of their migration. The porcupine caribou is famous for its great migration of thousands of kilometers each year, one of the longest land migrations of any mammal species. They follow a consistent route from the Ogilvy Mountains to the Richardson Mountains and toward the Beaufort Sea coast. In contrast, the 40-mile caribou only migrates a few hundred kilometers around the 40-mile river area between Alaska and Yukon. Caribou are endowed with incredible adaptations to survive in this hostile environment. Their hairs are thick and hollow, like small tubes, which help trap warm air near the body. Their noses warm the air before it enters the lungs, and their large hooves help them dig in the snow and maintain balance on ice. Although they can withstand temperatures as low as -50 degrees Celsius, their true challenge comes from hunger and predators. For this reason, the caribou is almost always in motion during the winter to avoid ambushes. A rare ecological event occurred in the 1960s and again in 1979, when the porcupine caribou migrated out of its usual range and entered the area of the 40-mile herd. Interestingly, there was no conflict between the two herds. Instead of competing, they quietly avoided each other as if guided by a common instinct, providing a powerful testimony to the profound balance that nature and the Creator have bestowed. While the other subspecies are seasonal visitors, the boreal woodland caribou considers the Richardson Mountains its home year-round. It lives solitarily or in small groups, remaining all year in the sparse forests of southeastern Yukon. By relying almost entirely on lichens without needing to share the habitat with large herds, the reduced competitive pressure allows them to focus on conserving energy and maintaining distance from predators. This survival strategy requires extreme vigilance and excellent camouflage thanks to its dark brown or ash-grey fur. The hair around the neck and shoulders is darker to retain heat and blend in with the understory. The difference in their physical appearance is also notable. The boreal woodland caribou is significantly larger than both the 40-mile and the porcupine caribou. Adults weigh between 120 and 210 kilograms, and some males reach up to 250 kilograms. Their antlers are thicker and heavier, with fewer branches and more rounded, adapted to the forest environment where compact antlers facilitate movement through dense vegetation. Unlike the long and twisted antlers of the tundra caribou, remaining in the same territory all year gives the boreal woodland caribou a profound knowledge of its environment. Understanding every tree, every rocky crevice, and every frozen stream in the taiga ecosystem is its greatest survival tool. Beneath the rivers of this land lies a fish with an amazing life cycle, the Chinook salmon. They migrate more than 3,200 kilometers from the ocean into the Yukon River to spawn and then end their lives, a poignant but essential process for the ecosystem. Although they do not eat during the nearly 3-month journey, they transport nutrients from the sea upriver, enriching the forests and mountains through their bodies rich in nitrogen and phosphorus. As of 2024, the number of Chinook salmon of Canadian origin has declined to between 19,000 and 28,000 individuals. This has led the government to decree a 7-year fishing ban. Meanwhile, on land, spotting the Arctic fox becomes especially difficult when snow covers everything in white. It is a slender creature, but with incredible endurance, that lives year-round in these mountainous areas. Without needing to migrate, the Arctic fox has evolved to thrive in the midst of the freezing winter, thanks to its fur that changes with the seasons. In winter, its hair becomes immaculate white for perfect camouflage on the snow. Then it changes to brownish grey in summer to blend in with the moss and rocks. That white winter fur is actually twice as thick as the summer fur, providing vital thermal insulation for the entire body. This thickening of the hair does not occur at random. The Arctic fox possesses a biological clock very sensitive to the photoperiod, that is, the duration of daily sunlight. The first signs of the red fox's presence were recorded in the early 20th century. By the year 2025, they have become common residents in many habitats, from open taiga and dry grasslands to the outskirts of northern communities. Their permanent presence in the subarctic zone is a clear reflection of climate change. As winters shorten, the snowpack thins, and freezing time is reduced, living conditions are increasingly favorable for species adapted to more temperate environments. While the Arctic fox depends on thick snow to hide and hunts based on hearing, the red fox benefits from thin or exposed snow surfaces. They rely on their sight and speed to pursue their prey. Unlike the Arctic fox, an expert long adapted to the snowy environment, the red fox is approximately 20% to 30% larger. It possesses an extremely flexible survival strategy. Like the Arctic fox, they hunt lemmings, voles, and ground-nesting birds. They feed on caribou or moose carcasses, and even consume human waste near settlements. However, the red fox rarely stores food, a technique known as caching, which allows leftovers to be buried under the snow for later consumption during winter, something the Arctic fox does frequently. According to studies conducted in Yukon in 2024, this adaptation has also caused notable changes in behavior. Many red foxes now use rocky caves and snowy hills that were previously traditional Arctic fox territory. This creates direct competition for breeding space and seriously threatens the survival of Arctic fox cubs. The expansion of the red fox is a severe ecological warning. It reflects the complex links between climate change, species behavior, and ecosystem structure. Any change can cause profound disturbances in the fragile Arctic survival network. In addition to competition from the red fox, one of the most important food sources for the Arctic fox, the lemming, is also fiercely contested by the snowy owl. This large white owl glides silently over the vast frozen plains. The snowy owl is the typical winter hunter of the Richardson Mountains and the interior taiga of Yukon. Hunting both day and night, lemmings represent more than 70% of its diet during the breeding season. They diversify their food sources during the rest of the winter. The snowy owl's hunting ability comes from a perfect combination of sharp vision, precise directional hearing, and silent flight. Unlike most owls, which are nocturnal, the snowy owl hunts at any time. This makes it a formidable rival, even when the Arctic fox or red fox lurks nearby. They usually fly low, gliding just above the ground from cliffs or snow mounds. Then they suddenly dive at high speed, with their knife-sharp talons sinking directly into the prey. Thanks to their specialized feathers that help absorb sound, their attack is almost inaudible. This prevents the target from reacting in time to the imminent danger. It is noteworthy that adult snowy owls have been observed stealing food from Arctic foxes. This adds another level of fierce competition for survival on the tundra. Although they are not permanent residents, they patrol the area from east to west throughout the winter, instead of migrating south. According to 2024 findings from Project Snowstorm, this winter has seen an increase in the number of snowy owls in northwestern Canada. This highlights the vital role of a stable lemming population in Yukon. In this landscape of snow and wind, each encounter between the Arctic fox and the snowy owl is no longer just a matter of hunting. It is a race for survival, where sharp eyes and sharp talons become the ultimate weapons. And now, for those of you watching this program, among the 3 winter hunters of Yukon, which one do you think has the smartest survival strategy? The Arctic fox, the red fox, or the snowy owl? Leave your answer in the comments below. The clashes between foxes and snowy owls are of little importance to the caribou. Their concern lies with the true rulers of the snow-covered mountains, the grey wolf. It is the alpha predator of the taiga ecosystem, one that seems to awaken as soon as the snow begins to thicken. The grey wolf is one of the carnivorous species with the most advanced social structure in Yukon. According to the Yukon Department of Environment in 2024, the population is estimated at about 4,500 to 5,000 individuals, scattered throughout the boreal forests and tundra. In winter, when temperatures frequently drop below -40 degrees Celsius, caribou become their primary prey. They are large targets that can feed an entire pack. Wolf packs, which usually consist of between 5 and 12 members, track caribou over dozens of kilometers. They traverse snow-covered valleys and mountainous forests, terrains favorable for ambush tactics. They are selective hunters who concentrate on old, injured, weak or young specimens. This strategy not only increases their success rate, but also helps maintain the health of the caribou population. In response, the caribou also has its own method. Its body temperature drops slightly and its heart rate slows down to only 8 to 12 beats per minute. Its metabolism is reduced to approximately 25% of its normal level. During this time, it does not eat, drink or excrete, surviving only on the fat reserves accumulated during the summer. When the thick layer of snow begins to melt and the first warm breezes blow over Yukon, the surviving caribou silently begin a new chapter in their journey of perseverance. Spring arrives at Yukon's north slope and the Beaufort coastal plain in late April. When daytime temperatures rise slowly from 1 degree Celsius to about 10 degrees Celsius or 15 degrees Celsius on clear days, the landscape undergoes a spectacular transformation. The ice along the streams cracks, giving way to the crystalline water of the thaw. Vegetation gradually covers the previously frozen ground with green tones. It is the time when plants like sedges, lichens and willows begin to sprout. These nutrient-rich food sources, after a long season of scarcity, signal the rebirth of the entire Arctic ecosystem. With the thaw, the porcupine caribou females lead the herd through the Richardson Mountains and Yukon's north slope. They return to the Beaufort coastal plain, an area that offers ideal breeding conditions with fewer grey wolves and an abundance of fresh spring food. This is also the most sacred phase of their life cycle. The peak of births occurs in early June, with more than 75% of females giving birth between June 1st and 7th each year. Newborn calves are extremely vulnerable in their first weeks. They depend on their mother's milk while facing threats from predators like grey wolves, grizzly bears, and golden eagles. However, predator density along the coast is between 30% and 40% lower than in interior regions. This significantly improves the survival rate of the calves. Male caribou play an important role in protecting the territory, using their antlers and strong hooves to drive away wolves if necessary. The birth process on the Beaufort coastal plain also stimulates the ecosystem itself. Calf manure and materials like the placenta enrich the soil with nitrogen and microbes, stimulating the growth of sedges and willows. This not only provides immediate food for the calves, but helps rejuvenate riparian vegetation. This creates favorable conditions for Chinook salmon when they begin their migration upriver. At the same time, the Canada goose begins its migration north to occupy wetlands and melt lakes. There, they will build their nests and raise their chicks in the midst of the reborn landscape. Although they represent less than 1% of the goose population in the area, according to surveys, some pairs choose riparian marshes and the edges of melt lakes as nesting sites. The breeding season extends from late May to early June, following a continental cycle. The Canada goose feeds on grass leaves, sedges, and aquatic plants, playing a key role in pH regulation. After nesting and egg-laying, the male, which usually weighs between 3.9 and 5 kilograms, assumes a high-level defensive role. It emits a sharp hiss and lunges to protect its young from red foxes or birds of prey. They usually lay 4 to 6 eggs that are incubated for 24 to 32 days. When the chicks hatch, both parents guide them along trails and channels toward fresh pastures to help them adapt quickly. A 2024 report from the United States Fish and Wildlife Service noted that the breeding population increased by 5% over the previous year. This indicates that spring breeding conditions in Alaska and Canada are improving. Offspring are always the hope and the future of their species, but no matter how fiercely they protect them, sometimes it is not enough when the giants of Yukon wake up from their long sleep. Right after finishing hibernation, the grizzly bear reappears across the plains with mothers and their cubs moving through the recently thawed tundra. According to the 2020 Habitat Modeling Report and observation data from 2021 to 2022, grizzly mothers focus primarily on vulnerable caribou calves. At the peak of the birth season, a bear can take down up to 6 caribou calves a day. The coastal plains offer ideal feeding conditions and a lower predator density than the interior. The hunt begins when the grizzly detects the scent of a nearby calf. Using its brute strength and speed, it separates the calf from its mother, often targeting those that are just learning to stand up. This makes them particularly vulnerable and unable to keep up with the herd. Grizzly pressure forces the caribou to change their breeding sites and directly affects the survival rate of the offspring. But there is a creature that wakes up even before the grizzly bear. The black bear, Ursus americanus, is usually the first to start the spring hunting season thanks to a shorter and lighter hibernation strategy. Black bears head toward the coastal plain, attracted by migratory species and the early appearance of food after the thaw. The black bear is an omnivorous species with great adaptability throughout North America. A male in spring can weigh between 80 and 90 kilograms. Although it is smaller than the inland grizzly bear, the black bear usually inhabits lowland forests. When the ice thins, they venture toward the coastal tundra in search of nutrient-rich foods. Among them, caribou and moose calves become targets of opportunity. These two species rarely face each other directly due to differences in size and territory. The black bear tends to avoid the high areas where the grizzly concentrates, choosing coastal, riparian regions with fewer predators instead. Unlike the grizzly, the black bear can climb trees to eat berries when summer arrives. They also compete indirectly with scavengers like the Arctic fox and the raven, forming a tight food web. Meanwhile, a new danger quietly approaches from the north. The polar bear, the alpha predator of the icy waters, begins its journey inland from the sea ice off Herschel Island. The polar bear evolved from the brown bear in the Pleistocene, adapting perfectly to life in the frozen Arctic. Their bodies are streamlined with a thick, coarse white coat, large paws, and strong claws. An adult male usually weighs between 350 and 500 kilograms and can stand up to 1.5 meters tall at the shoulder. They are considerably larger than the other two bear species. In spring, they leave their dens to hunt bearded seals as soon as cracks appear in the sea ice. They establish ambush points at breathing holes or follow bubbles under the ice. When the thaw progresses, they can venture further onto land and feed on caribou calves or carrion. This adds pressure to the already vulnerable herds of young. Unlike the grizzly and the black bear, the polar bear operates across multiple terrains: ocean, coast, and coastal plain. However, when the ice melts, they usually avoid the grizzly, which can drive them away from their prey. As spring arrives and life is reborn, mothers of all species protect and guide their young with courage. Can you guess which of the three bear species usually has the most cubs in a single litter? Leave your answer in the comments. When the porcupine caribou herds leave the coastal breeding areas to return to the interior, it is the sign of summer in the far north. Summer in Yukon extends from June to August, with between 18 and 22 hours of sunlight a day. Maximum temperatures range between 6 degrees Celsius and 26 degrees Celsius. The Alpine tundra, which extends across mountain ranges like Ogilvy and Mackenzie, awakens at altitudes between 900 and 2,400 meters, where trees can no longer grow. This place becomes an explosive habitat with wildflowers, lichens, and short grasses that bloom in a brief period of just 45 to 90 days. During this time, temperatures hover around 3 degrees Celsius to 12 degrees Celsius. The coastal hills, low undulations along the edge of the Beaufort Sea, where high slopes descend gently, offer a slightly more temperate tundra climate. The average summer temperature there is about 4.5 degrees Celsius. This zone has extensive meadows of sedges, lichens, and dwarf willows. It forms a vital transition zone between the Arctic tundra and the boreal taiga to the south. Summer is the season of recovery. Caribou herds head to the high mountain areas, where cool breezes and fewer insects provide a necessary refuge against mosquitoes and horseflies. Calves begin to learn key survival skills, such as keeping up with the herd and selecting soft foods. They also learn to recognize predator tracks. This is also a stage of rapid physical growth as they prepare for the long migration south. Adult caribou concentrate on accumulating fat and nutrients, increasing an average of 10% to 15% of their body weight. This is possible thanks to the abundant summer vegetation. Caribou cluster together using high ridges to avoid insect clouds and reduce the risk of attacks by grizzly bears or grey wolves. Strong mountain winds decrease insect density, allowing them to consume more than 10 kilograms of plants a day with less disturbance. This is a delicate transition phase to strengthen the young. They seek to consolidate the health of the herd and store energy for the imminent migration south. When the porcupine caribou ventures into its new habitats, it may encounter the hoary marmot. This is a rare sight to see, as this species hibernates for up to 8 months and is only active during the brief summer period. It is easily recognizable by its robust body and silvery grey fur. The hoary marmot inhabits rocky slopes and alpine meadows of the tundra and coastal hills. Summer is the only season in which they mate, raise their young, and accumulate fat reserves. They feed on grass, wildflowers and roots, remaining active during the long northern daylight hours. According to the Yukon government in 2024, this is also the time when marmots are most sociable. They often stand guard and emit their characteristic alarm whistles at any nearby danger. The hoary marmot stands firm as one of the most vital symbols of summer in Yukon. In summer, the Dall sheep returns with great strength, inhabiting the steep cliffs throughout the Alpine tundra. They extend toward the adjacent low hills, terrain where only true climbers dare to step. Here, low plants like sedges, willows, and the dryas flower form the main diet of this mountain inhabitant. The Dall sheep has a distinctive appearance with a winter coat that reaches 2 centimeters in thickness. They have a shoulder height of about 1.5 meters and a body weight of between 100 and 110 kilograms. Females are significantly lighter than males. The male's large spiral horns are both a symbol of dominance and a weapon against predators like the golden eagle, the grizzly bear, and the grey wolf. Summer marks the breeding season. Females give birth and raise their young on the highest cliffs, where safety is the top priority. The survival of lambs is closely related to the NDVY, Normalized Difference Vegetation Index. NDVI is a measure of the greenness of plants. Where vegetation sprouts earlier, the chances of survival for small lambs improve significantly. Summer is also the time when these sheep rely on rugged terrain to reduce predator pressure. This is a clear strategic choice in their survival strategy. The Dall sheep plays a crucial ecological role by consuming sedges, willows, and mosses. In this way, they help regulate the dynamics of alpine vegetation. The change between different altitudes also reflects their adaptive response to climate change. Shrub species are gradually moving toward higher areas of the mountain. This could affect the future food sources of this species. The mountain goat, another master of the vertical world, dominates Yukon's steep cliffs during the short summer months. It is equipped with square, sharp-edged hoofs and flexible footpads. The mountain goat adheres easily to rock walls with slopes greater than 60 degrees. They move elegantly at elevations of thousands of meters. With a body length of about 1.4 meters and an average weight of 70 kilograms, they are considered true masters of climbing. There are approximately 1,500 individuals in Yukon. Summer is their only season of full activity, awakening in late May and remaining active for only about 90 days. They use this time to give birth, feed and accumulate fat before winter returns. Starting in June, females give birth on safe rock ledges. They then guide their young to the heights, teaching them to climb and feed on alpine vegetation. Their superior ability to climb and maintain balance allows them to avoid almost all predators. Only the golden eagle, the grey wolf, and the grizzly bear represent potential threats. But even they can rarely reach the mountain goat in its vertical environment. When it feels threatened, the mountain goat instinctively runs upward or clings to the rock wall. It uses the landscape as a natural shield and escapes danger through its reflexes. Their mastery of the terrain is absolute. They also change their activity range according to the season, remaining on high peaks during the summer. In winter, they descend a bit further to seek temperate shelters and access salt licks for essential nutrients. This amazing adaptation to the terrain highlights their role as specialists. They are true specialists in high mountain survival in Yukon's extreme climate. Summer is also the highlight of reproduction for the golden eagle. On steep and windy cliffs, these birds of prey build their nests with large branches. The nests are located in discreet places with wide visibility. A true symbol of the sky, summer is also the highlight of reproduction for the golden eagle. On steep and windy cliffs, these birds of prey build their nests with large branches. These nests are reused and expanded over the years. They are located in discreet places with wide visibility, far from the reach of predators and ideal for raising chicks. From late April to late July, a pair of golden eagles usually raises 1 or 2 eaglets. The eggs are incubated and the chicks are kept warm and fed with care. But rearing is not simply about feeding. It is a genuine training process. In the first weeks, the eaglet flaps weakly, waiting for food. Between the 7th and 9th week, the parents begin to encourage stronger wing beats. and short hops between rock ledges. Some parents even drop live prey into the nest to teach the eaglet how to react. They teach them to attack and finish off the prey. The mother eagle will glide in front of her offspring, sometimes faking attacks to activate their reflexes and force the young one to adjust its height. Gradually, the eaglet joins brief hunting expeditions, observing tactics and imitating approach techniques. Once the nest is safe, the golden eagle embarks on real hunting missions. They use diverse strategies depending on the type of prey. For marmots, they use the contour flight technique, flying at low altitude following the relief. They fly only 1 to 5 meters from the ground, then dive at full speed when the target appears. They hold it firmly by the neck or head with their powerful talons. For dull sheep lambs, they choose a low and stealthy approach. They hold on tightly to the back or neck for several minutes to exhaust the small lamb and subdue it. When facing larger prey, such as an adult mountain goat, they can use the push off the cliff strategy. They take advantage of the sloped terrain to unbalance the target and make it roll down the rocky crevices. For young or weak goats, they return to the ambush and firm grip style. Strategic flexibility, speed, and sharp intelligence make the golden eagle an incessant aerial threat. They exert ecological pressure that shapes the distribution of marmots, foxes, and lambs throughout the tundra landscape. They are hunters that are not limited to a single species. While caribou herds continue to enjoy the short summer, a quieter and more urgent story unfolds beneath the surface. Yukon faces a series of serious environmental crises as climate change accelerates permafrost thaw. The result is ground subsidence, destruction of infrastructure, and the release of methane gas and mercury into the ecosystem. Along coastal areas, such as on Herschel Island, thaw-slumping landslides occur at an unprecedented rate. These events accelerate erosion and change the appearance of the entire landscape. Meanwhile, Yukon's hydrological cycle is being altered with increasing floods and a rise in water turbidity. This increases the risk of mercury contamination along the Yukon River basin. Vegetation is changing rapidly, with shrubs and boreal forests invading tundra areas. This change causes more frequent forest fires. The expansion also pushes invasive species like the red fox further into Arctic fox territory, altering the ancestral ecological balance. At the same time, iconic species like the porcupine caribou and Chinook salmon are seriously affected by habitat loss. They face unstable food sources and have to navigate disturbances during their life cycles. Yukon is in the midst of a climate crisis that clearly illustrates the erosion of the natural foundations of this land. Faced with this pressure, Yukon is proactively adapting through multidimensional solutions based on indigenous knowledge. Leading the way is the Our Clean Future initiative, which seeks to reduce emissions by 45% from 2010 levels, with the goal of reaching 97% renewable electricity by 2030. Yukon is also driving the adoption of electric vehicles while reducing emissions in transportation and construction. Authorities have developed a network of sensors and geotechnical mapping systems to monitor ground movement. Canada contributes $7.5 million Canadian dollars annually through the Northern Climate Change Preparedness Program. This supports Indigenous communities in improving infrastructure and stabilizing foundations. Efforts in places like Herschel Island have been accelerated through the relocation of cultural heritage sites and the digital preservation of traditional knowledge. The Yukon River Inter-Tribal Watershed Council, YRITWC, monitors the river's water quality. They also lead the restoration of the taiga to rebuild ecological corridors and absorb millions of tons of carbon dioxide. These strategies protect the vital flow and natural heritage of this land for future generations. But Yukon needs more than that. It needs individuals to act. If you have ever witnessed the majesty of its wildlife, do not hesitate to share your experience in the comments. Your voice can be a source of inspiration in efforts to preserve the ecosystem for the future. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to join us on our next expedition. Continue following wildlife survival stories with Wild Siberia, Secrets of Survival in the Ice Forest, or Extreme Alaska, The Fight for Fauna Survival.